Okay, guys, chapter 4. Yeah? Also, I've been eating Girl Scout cookies. Are you jealous? Thin Mint. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, but back to the book. Chapter 4. We're still, now remember, we talked about plot charts and how though they're kind of introduced to us like this, they don't necessarily always follow this distribution. So one of the things that I'm sure you're noticing about this book is that kind of the exposition and rising action is very, very slow. Now, first of all, this could kind of mirror life in a small town in the South during this era, right? Moving very, very slow with not a lot of action or excitement, right? And so that's one of the ways you can connect it. But what that also means is even though we're in chapter 4, we're still kind of making baby steps towards whatever the broader, larger idea of this book is. Yeah. In this chapter, we're really introduced to the kids again and how they've changed from last summer to this summer. We see that they're more mature, but yet still clearly kids. When Jen talks about, what is it? When he talks about the coins and the magic that they contain, like these are still a lot of very childlike ideas, right? In terms of, what he thinks about this stuff. Even though as the eldest, he often comes across as the most mature and logical. We also see the children's fascination with the Radley house, right? And how as they continue to tell this story and act out this play, it becomes more ridiculous and more dramatic, right? Until eventually Atticus catches them. And again, we see that Atticus is extremely perceptive and doesn't condone them mocking the Radley family, even though we still have no idea who they are, what's going on, or why nobody comes out of the house, right? So we have no reason to understand why Atticus is empathetic towards them, yeah, but as often is the case, children's perceptions of things are often wrong, which is why this book is really powerful, because right now we're still just seeing it through the eyes of the child, but we can get little indicators of what's happening from Atticus. This chapter is also, in terms of classic literature, a great chapter because we finally get some tension building, right? And building tension is another device. Initially, this is done when we have this tree with these mysterious gifts. But then the chapter ends with this kind of like spooky part where Scout Relay has a flashback basically and indicates an incident that happened earlier, but tells us a little bit more about it in a way that kind of makes us feel like, oh, that's creepy. Yeah. So that wills us to read on, right? So, because part of an author's job is to move us through the book, to make us want to know what's going on and want to know what happens. And tension is one of the ways. Tension and suspense. These are ways that authors can do that. Yeah? Okay, enough from me about chapter 4. I hope you're liking this story. It's a little bit hard to get into initially, but then it becomes, I think, quite a page turner. But then I'm an English teacher, so...